I'm gonna try to be fairly quick because we have many great designers here, and I would like to be considerate and leave time for them. But I am Italian, so I'll do my best. I'm gonna start with, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. I'm gonna start. So Elena asked us to pick 3 products that we think are interesting to talk about. And I thought, okay, how do I pick these? And Elena talked about the mindset rather than the tools. And the mindset is really what's important in design because of this ever-changing landscape which we operate in. And I thought, okay, I want something that explains the mindset, and if it's too complicated, it might be hard to get it across. I know some of my colleagues will talk about very complicated stuff, big systems, complex interactions. So I decided to choose something really simple, with the idea that it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen people doing Tai Chi, they move very slow so that they refine all the nuances of the movement. That's the same idea, I guess. And then, the second factor was that this is an image from my office, and as you can see, I have a pretty colorful nickname because I like to eat a lot. And so I decided to talk about food, and I brought examples of food. And the first one is the story of an icon. And just so we get warm the game, on your bingo card, it might say iconic. It's fine. Even if it's not icon, if it says iconic, you can check it. Now, by a show of hands, how many people recognize this? Okay, that's a good sign because honestly, it's not really saying much on it, right? But you already know what it is. And I'm particularly attached to this because it's delicious, but also because when I was in school, one of the great fathers of Italian design brought this as an example in explaining how deep design can go. And what I like about this is that it's extremely recognizable. You can read the brand from any side. Obviously, the product itself needs to be great, but the packaging goes a long way in making it stand out and making it memorable. And then you get to the inside and you have these little triangles that are so, it's part of a bigger bar, but it feels like an individual, candy. And if you notice, it's the same shape of the mountain that is on the packaging. There's a consistency in signs here that is remarkable. And it's so recognizable that you can mess with the name and you still recognize it. Very few brands can afford that. Coke is one that does it frequently, but not many brands can play with the packaging and remove the name and still be recognizable. And then they do all sorts of interesting stuff with the packaging, playing with the form factor. It still fits, the language of the packaging is still recognizable. It makes it in different shapes. It's so inspiring that they even build houses. The second is a story of reduction. I often say that design is reductionist activity because, especially now that we're moving more into technological objects, the problem is technological objects require more engineers to develop than traditional objects. And engineers have a tendency to pile up assets and make things extremely complex and heavy. And that's why the designer has to come in and trim all the fat and make sure that only the things that matter stay. And the story starts in Milan. This is what we call aperitivo. It's the equivalent of your happy hour. But as you can see, it revolves a lot more around food than drinking, although drinking is a big part of it. And all bars in Milan around 7 put out this food. And there's a problem on how do you serve this food. Here you see they have sticks, but sometimes, it's a lot of work to put the sticks in this. They want to serve more, rice or something more normal. So, the natural tool, since it has to be disposable, is the spork. And the spork is a pretty awful thing. Now, if you're really lucky, you might find a more refined spork that looks like this. But then this guy came out, and you know, this is it's a blow to my pride, because I actually have some history with this guy, and not of the pretty guy. Let's just say we don't get along, but I have to recognize that this is a masterpiece. Basically, he removed everything that wasn't absolutely necessary in providing the two functions. You hold one side, you use it as a spoon, you hold the other side, you use it as a fork. And it's also elegant, and it's called moscardino, which means a little squid. So there's also an emotional and memorial hook in it. So kudos to him for doing this.
1 minute left.
Yes, I'm sorry. As I had said, this is a story of integration, and I'm going to speed up. There's this chain here that's called Which. I hope everybody knows it because I think it's fantastic. And this paper bag is an incredible product because you pick the bag when you get in, you check what you want in the sandwich. It's used on the line to make sure your order is followed. And then they give it to you to eat the sandwich, and when you're done, you can scribble with the Sharpies and leave art behind. So this paper bag, is something incredibly humble as being able to integrate different functions across the working flow of the restaurant. And that's it. Thank you.